Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.
Oh no, I can't reach anything. I didn't block the door for the sound. Do you think it's a problem? Or do you think it's a treat? That sounds...
1, 2, 3, 4, shoot off.
Acquaintance, beaver guy.
I think that
What?
if they can't
If
deal
they can't cope with the
with the
Biofriendly
Biofriendly Boys on the Biofriendly Podcast,
The
through our hallway next door at the we have a, what is it? It's isn't it like neuro mapping?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
They're scanning our brains as we do the
brain,
podcast.
To do, brain scanning. So I think those guys, the neurosciences fellows, I think that they're happy to hear the podcast. Why wouldn't they want to hear the podcast?
Right. It's probably...
it's an education on mental health.
They probably opened a file on us already.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, these guys are definitely a case study.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that down the other end on the law, that's a law firm.
I think it's a law firm.
And come on. I mean, if you're in there doing
object.
your paralegal work,
I object, Your Honor.
just bored out of your mind.
You're going to want to listen to the Biofriendly Boys.
With the repetitive, just paper filling outing and stamps.
And instead...
So much stamping.
And
I hear could you imagine how much better that would be if you could hear Biofriendly Podcast live down the hall?
Live. These people don't even know. They don't even know that their neighbors moved in, and they have entertainment once a week from probably one of the biggest hit podcasts around the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on,
people.
So no, I don't think you should put a towel under the door.
Okay, that's what I did last time.
I think they should hear us.
I put a little, because they're underneath our door when we close it. There's like a half an inch, I would say.
Yeah.
So like our voices are definitely going to travel, because we were laughing the other day, and Brooke said I could hear you all the way down to the elevators. And
so you normally you walk down these halls and you don't hear a thing. It's all apparently very silent, very professional, not a worry in the world for anyone except when Jacob and I are in an office.
That's
and
right.
Apparently it's very loud. There's a lot of laughter, a lot of boisterous.
Lots of merriment and joy.
Merriment.
Yeah.
It's a good word.
And we even put something, so we're waiting for the sign on our door that says the suite number that we're in. And so Noel and I, what suite number we're in. So Noel and I are making a paper sign to put out there to kind of let people see, like, this is our location. And we decided that instead of spelling it S-U-I-T-E, we spelled it S-W-E-E-T, as in sweet.
And just to make sure that people know that this is not a spelling error, this is purposeful, it's underlined and has an exclamation point.
Absolutely. So I think that even without the merriment and joy that they hear, or the Christmas tree that's behind us,
or the Christmas tree,
they see the words sweet and they know this is a fun place. Yeah. This is where the party starts and ends.
And the party ends. If you're wondering where the party stops...
Right here.
It's right here.
Right here.
Starts and stops.
Well...
How was your Christmas?
It was wonderful. Yeah. I had a wonderful Christmas. It was a beautiful time. And I'm so happy that we both rushed right back here after Christmas to make sure that our fans had a podcast to bring them into the new year.
What is remarkable to me is that you came here all the way from Indiana just for an hour.
Mm-hmm. I flew
record
back.
This podcast.
I took a plane. I said, Merry Christmas. I'm so happy. Everybody's happy. Santa came. The kids are smiling. I got to get back to Los Angeles immediately because I have to record a podcast because there are people who depend on the truth.
And you're going back.
Yeah, I'm going. I'm getting right back on a plane once we're done. Once we're done, I'm back. I'm back.
He's back, baby.
He's back. Well, this is the end of the year podcast. This is the last podcast of 2019.
Wow.
Kind of crazy, isn't it?
That's nuts.
It's nuts.
I can't believe it.
We finally made it.
We did it.
This is the one we're going to be remembered for.
I was wondering which one we'd be remembered for.
This one.
This is the one.
So make it count.
Well, I'm waiting for us to come back in time, like the Bill and Ted guys did.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
To tell us that this was the one, because the thing that we are certain of is that when the thing happens that we're going to be remembered for.
Yes.
We made a promise to each other that we would go into a time machine, go back in time, and tell ourselves,
yes,
this is the one.
And be like, this is it, guys. This is what is happening right now.
Yeah. And so far, every time we've said this is the one you'll be remembered for, they have not come back.
No, and we're looking. We've been looking around. We'll be out in the world, and I'm looking for two old dudes.
Yep.
Who are going to walk up to us and be like, hello, I'm Jacob.
And I'm Noel.
And this is the moment you'll be remembered for. And I'm like, but we're in line at a fat burger.
Where am I?
So that hasn't happened yet.
It's awfully cold in this building.
It's so cold. Well, this is
I need soup. Could someone please? I can't. What did I ask for?
old Noel is very needy
Where am I?
and confused. Noel,
This is the one I'll be remembered for.
remember that when you're older now that we're having this conversation, make sure future you brings a coat because it's cold.
I know, because I'll be freezing.
And travel
It's cold,
fed.
and bring soup.
Yeah, bring soup with you in the time machine. Oh man. Well, I guess we'll dial in here. This is the Biofriendly Podcast. Did we already say that? I don't know.
No, we didn't. Hi, he's Jacob.
He's Noel, and we're the Biofriendly Boys.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was trying to figure out what to talk about this episode, but one thing's for sure. We were cut short last week with the Die Hard is a Christmas movie conversation because we just started getting in, and then we got a phone call about a refrigerator being delivered, and we never got to have that conversation. So I think right out of the gate, we gotta tackle that.
I'll have you know though that refrigerator did get delivered.
It did.
It's here.
It's over there.
It
I'm
has
looking
been
at
fantastic all week long.
All week
since
long.
we got it last week.
Keeping things cold and colder.
And colder. We have ice.
Yeah.
There was a whole. You should just go through the process.
Yeah.
Jacob was hilarious last week.
Yeah.
Working. I know we're supposed to talk about Die Hard again.
No. It's fine. It's fine. It's like you don't want to have that conversation.
Well, it's very adorable how much ice problems you had last week getting this.
Yeah.
Just go through what you had to do. I know this is not green or biofriendly at all.
No, it is green.
People hate our tangents, but
no, it's green. It's fine. Hey, if you've stuck with us until 2019, we're tangential, but worth it. It had this instruction, which I've never had before with an ice maker. It had a very detailed checklist on how you get the ice maker to be programmed to be full. And so you had to let it make ice for 24 hours. Then after that period of time, you let 4 to 6 cubes, no more, no less, in a glass. And then you have to wait another.
That's a tough, no more, no less. 4 to 6.
First of all, when you push the lever, it either comes out 1 or 800. Everybody knows that's how an ice cube machine works, is you put in the cup and either 1 cube comes out or every piece of ice that was in there comes out. That's how they work. Yeah. So you're literally sitting there and you're going 1, 2, 3, counting them out.
But you can't just pull the thing out and just grab 4 ice cubes and take them out?
No, you have to let the machine do its thing. That's the thing. It's you're programming the ice maker is going to dispense these, and then I have to wait 8 hours, and then I have to do it again.
So you have to use the dispenser.
And then and then you have to wait another 16 hours, and then you have to do it again. And then after that, the ice maker goes, "Oh, I get it. You want to make ice."
That's what you want me to do. Why did someone tell me that my
Look,
job
I
is
got to
to
be
make
honest. When I showed up here on this floor, I wasn't quite sure what you guys wanted from me, but it seems like you want me to make some ice.
Wait, you want me to make ice? Oh my God, this whole time.
Wow, talk about a curveball. Wow. I did not. I have been around.
Well, I guess I'll just put this table and saw away.
I guess I'm not building you guys a skate ramp like I figured. So I had to program.
If you had programmed it differently, would it have built us a skate ramp?
Possibly. Yeah. Would you like me to reset it?
If you could reset that thing.
He comes in here in the new year, and Tony Hawk is just ripping it on our floor. The building is furious. So we got the new fridge, and I programmed the ice machine, which now I'm going to add that to my resume. Ice machine programmer.
Yeah, indeed.
Check me out on LinkedIn. So that was exciting. So we got a new fridge. It's great. It works
it makes us, here's why it relates to the topic. It makes us more bio-friendly.
It does.
Because now it's super easy for us to get cold water.
Yeah.
Without having to find dispensers, without having to find containers as much.
Right, we don't have to get containers. We don't have to get bottled water. We don't have to go buy anything. Nobody has to bring sparklets in here or anything like that. We have a filtered water source in the office for everybody here, and so that's one of the ways we are going green. And we're going to continue in this space in 2020, just greening up Pasadena and greening up California.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Whole joint.
We're going to green the whole place. The Biofriendly Boys are getting to work. But Die Hard.
Die Hard, back to it. Okay. So,
Hey, don't get mad at us for being a little bit more tangential. It's the end of the year. Let us do our thing.
right. So, all right, it is a Christmassy green movie, but is it a green movie?
Is Die Hard a green movie?
This is the
Not at all.
question I want to ask you.
Not at all.
No, you don't think that the way that they killed each other was
No. There was no environmental message in Die Hard. And if you disagree, then come at me. Come at me, bro. No, but I do think it's a Christmas movie. That was my point. I think Die Hard is a 100% a Christmas movie. Do you? Oh boy. That's the Noel inhale.
Yeah. I'm on the fence.
Okay, he's on the fence.
I will admit that it happens. From my recollection, it happens on Christmas Eve.
It does. It takes place on Christmas Eve.
From my recollection, he's trying to get back to his wife and try to fix their marriage by being together on Christmas.
Yeah, not just his wife, his children
Family,
too.
yes,
His
yeah.
whole
But the
family.
wife is the one who's in danger.
Right.
I mean, that's right.
Right.
Yeah. But
What's the wife's name? Holly.
I don't. Oh, it's a Holly.
How interesting that her name is Holly in this very much a Christmas film.
Jesus. Okay. So if I make a movie in July and name my main guy Santa, it's a Christmas movie?
Totally Christmas movie.
Okay.
Hey, that's not the only thing that makes it a Christmas movie. I have 800 points, but go on your
No.
fence.
No. I'm not totally against the concept of the Christmas movie. Here's the thing. So I get that. Okay, so she's Holly, great. All right. So it's trying to get the family together on Christmas, I guess. Great.
Yeah.
The reason that this is an argument at all.
You know what his kids' names are? Donner and Blitzen.
Blitzen?
No, the reason it's an argument at all.
The reason it's an argument at all is because they spend an entire movie saving the lives of people who are held hostage in a tower.
Right.
That's and you're dealing with a character who's not supposed to be in that situation.
Right.
Who's forced into the role of being an action hero and saving the day.
Right.
And he spends the entire movie saving lives. In a tower. Now, does he save Christmas for all those people? Absolutely. That would
100%.
make it a Christmas movie. Does he get his family? Does he,
rekindles his marriage?
Wife? Yes, that
he
does that. Do they probably spend Christmas together the next day? I'd be shocked if they didn't.
They do.
Right.
Yeah, newsflash.
I mean, they have to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, he doesn't go back. He doesn't
Right.
go
Like, he doesn't
that was,
save her and say,
that
well,
was
now
a
that
fun
this is
party.
done.
Thanks,
And
Nakatomi
it's
Plaza.
not like she says to him, well, thanks for saving my life. You can't now be with us for Christmas.
Yeah, you have to stay in a Motel 6.
So, yeah, I mean, they don't technically show them together, as a family on Christmas. Maybe that would have made it a Christmas movie if they'd done a little bit of that. Yeah. Maybe there's a lot of things that could have made it into absolutely 100% a Christmas movie.
Right.
The issue that I think the non-Christmas movie fan people have is just that there isn't so much a Christmas message of any shape or kind at all in that movie. It's not a movie that is there to give you the Christmas spirit. It doesn't.
Right.
The movie doesn't make you go, "Oh yay, it's the holidays and I can't wait for ginger beer and vodka."
Yeah,
like
right.
the rest of us
Right.
have on, because we all have that on Christmas.
Right.
Now that's the part of me that's on the fence. That's not necessarily with it. Now I'm not saying I don't think that it's a Christmas movie either, because you know what? I mean, look, the guy's trying to get his family together, and this is the event that does it, to get them together for Christmas. So look. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'm still
not sold.
Undecided.
Okay, undecided. That's fair. I'm 100% Die Hard is a Christmas movie because I love it and I watch it every Christmas. And I even have a Die Hard Christmas book where they've illustrated the movie and they've done it in verse, in rhymes. And I bring that out during the holidays. So, I have my millions of reasons why I think it is. And we won't.
For you.
For me.
It will always be a Christmas movie.
It'll be a Christmas movie.
Because you watch it at Christmas.
I do.
It's a Christmas tradition.
Yeah. Elf. Polar Express, Jingle All the Way.
All the Way.
No, I don't watch that
Nobody
one. Santa
watches
Claus.
Jingle
No,
All
I
the
don't
Way.
watch that one. I was just trying to think of a Christmas movie. Elf, Polar Express,
Love Actually.
Love Actually, and Die Hard. They come up, man. So anyway,
well, good for you.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it gives you the Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that for you it does that.
Yeah.
I won't say that it does the same for me.
Okay, that's fair. Well, I think I've kind of made it into a tradition. Like I started watching it a few years ago over Christmas because here's the reasons why I think it is. There's sleigh bells in the score. They play Let It Snow in the film. They play Run DMC's Christmas in Hollis. They do Ode to Joy. Theo, one of the criminals, does the 'Twas the Night Before Christmas poem in the film. Hans represents kind of a Grinch, kind of greed message that needs to be taken down. Again, John McClane traveling home. That's like a classic Christmas movie trope. We've got all the things from like the gun being wrapped in wrapping paper. We have the I have a gun now, ho, ho, ho. We have literally from top to bottom, the whole film from start to finish just keeps hitting us over and over and over again with these Christmas themes. So for me, it feels, and then it snows at the end in Los Angeles. So to me, there's so many things in it. There's lines that say it's the time of Christmas, the time of miracles, all these things that keep coming back.
I would even tell you that the director may feel that it's a Christmas movie and may have intended it for
One of the screenwriters did say that, yes.
Yes, so his feeling is this should be a Christmas movie. But but the problem is you could set that movie, change almost nothing.
Right.
And it could be a Halloween movie.
Right. Okay.
I mean, like
you
you change a couple songs.
Yeah.
You change a date. You change a couple decorations, and it's a Halloween movie. You change a couple decorations, it's a 4th of July movie. You change a couple decorations, and it's an Easter movie.
No.
It could be any damn movie you want, because all you're doing is putting a bunch of surroundings around an action film. It is an action movie.
So he just
I've just changed.
He just jumped the other side of the fence.
I just kicked over everything.
You kicked over our podcast recording.
I actually was not intending to do that.
No, it's okay. Can you get down again? Well, we'll leave it there. In a classic biofriendly podcast fashion, he's Noel. And
I just broke everything.
He broke everything. No, he believes strongly in his side of the fence, and I'll believe in mine. But
you know what's hilarious? I had no side of the fence
until I started saying stuff?
Until essentially I was. I don't know if I was asked to argue a point.
No.
But it felt like if we're getting into it, somebody should take that point of view. And so since I took the point of view, I'm like, okay, now I feel this way.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But anyways, one thing that I do know.
What?
Is that doesn't have a ton to do with the environment. We probably should
move on.
Something.
I know. I feel like we're going to get in trouble for me kicking off a podcast. We usually save the more tangential stuff near the end, so I feel like somebody's going to be mad. So you know what?
They
it's
might
my
be,
fault.
but you know what? It's not their podcast.
Okay. Okay. That's fair. No, but as we move on to the environmental stuff, as we close out the year, I think what I really wanted to do is take this time to review some of the biggest things that we learned in 2019. That's what I thought would be cool, is I thought we could kind of share the things that really, I don't know, made a major impact on us, and then how we're going to take that and what we're going to do in the new year. So, I can start, or you can start, or whatever you'd like to do, but I thought we could review some things from our episodes, because this is episode 43. So we did 43 episodes this year. We didn't get started at, we didn't launch the podcast until a couple months into 2019, so we didn't have a full year of shows. Mm-hmm. But along the way, I think if you were to go back and go to the very first episode, The Straw Ban, and work your way through, you can really see this show take shape, us really start to learn and discover new things about environmentalism and what it means and what steps we can take. And that's what I thought this episode would be good for. Just a little reflection before we kick into 2020.
I love reflecting.
Okay.
That's all I do.
I love it.
I'm a reflection machine.
You are. Well, one of the things that I think was a big step for me was the coffee cups. I now do not take coffee cups. I only do tumblers. I'm pretty militant about that. If we find ourselves in a situation where I absolutely do not have the ability to get my tumbler, I will buy a coffee cup. But I would say this year alone, when I think about leading up to this, how many Starbucks and coffee bean cups I probably went through over the years as opposed to this year, I would say I could probably count on one hand the amount of coffee cups that I went through in the past, 9 months once we started doing tumblers and grabbing stuff. So that was a huge change for me.
That's massive.
Yeah, big time.
That's great.
What about you?
I am surprised. One of the things that's been interesting in this process is having a podcast. Part of that is getting, we have a topic and then we cover that topic, and then from that, obviously you learn something and you talk about some things, and we try to stay informed. So some of the stuff we know a little bit about. The thing that's been interesting has been talking to people, talking to people who listen to the podcast and watch the podcast and hearing their perspective on things and getting points of view that I wasn't expecting on some things. Like there's one perspective that I got from two different really great sources, and they're actually, to be fair, they're people that I they're not just random fans in the street in this case. These are
Friends.
Friends and family, right?
Yeah, yeah.
My brother, he made a point that stuck with me about plastic.
Yeah.
About the fact that the inventor of plastic, he never imagined in a million years when he created this, when he created this tool, this thing that you could use, that it would be something that we just treated as a disposable thing.
Right.
For him, he would keep it in his pocket. He would put things in that plastic bag. He would wash out his plastic bag. He would leave it overnight and then pull it out again and use it until the thing was falling apart.
Wow.
And that was the way he thought. He thought, okay, this is
can be revolutionary.
A tool that you can use and you keep using it, and it has a purpose. And look at how great this purpose would be.
Yeah.
And then people took that and turned it into something that is problematic.
Yeah.
for
single-use
landfills.
plastics. Yeah.
The other and there's a second kind of part to that, which is another friend of mine, Hillary Stones, who we spend our New Year. We're going to be spending New Year's with her and her family and her husband Zach, and they're wonderful. They're some of our best friends.
Yeah.
And she talked about plastic as she talked about how interesting. She made this observation, which I thought was great. How interesting is it that that we treat things like metals, like what. Aluminum, gold, copper, all this stuff. These are all things we get from the ground. There's a certain amount of it, and we use it as a resource, and we try to reuse it, and we try not to waste it, and we recycle it, and we put it. We keep using this stuff over and over again because it's a resource that we need that has a purpose, right?
Yeah.
And then you think about plastic, and plastic comes from it's oil, right? It is a byproduct of oil, which we have a finite amount of.
Yeah.
Okay? It is a resource on this planet. It's something that we have that can be used for certain things. And why isn't plastic treated more like the resource that it is?
Yeah.
We waste it as if there's plenty of it, as if we're going to have enough of it forever, and that's not true. There is a finite amount of it. And as if it's a disposable, unnecessary thing, when actually plastic, when used properly, is it's a valuable thing. It's a resource, right? Like there is no better thing for some purposes than plastic.
Yeah.
Plastic is the right resource for a lot of things if you're using it the right way.
Yeah.
And that was a perspective that I didn't expect coming into doing this podcast that I would see. Is these kind of from two different people I admire and trust, that these sort of opinions of let's not totally poo-poo plastic. Let's just be responsible with it.
Yeah.
And that's something that I really have kind of gotten behind, is that like let's be responsible with our resources.
Let's not poo-poo plastic. Let's be responsible for it. That's going on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, pal.
Well, that is.
Let's write that down. Let's go. We can put it on our store.
Put it on the store.
Yeah.
On the merch.
Yeah, on the merch store.
I think that's very well said. And there are some major, I think, in 2019, and I think we'll continue learning more and more. But when you think about environment and environmental decisions that you make, there's some of these major pillars. Plastic being one, water being another, not being wasteful with food and consumer goods. So you start to pick up on these pillars. And I think that if every person in this country and around the world just addressed those major things, there would be such a big shift tonally and what we would see in the world. Like if everybody had that same perspective about what you just said about plastic, about what I said about the coffee cups. And I think all the way back to, if you rewind to very early in the podcast days when we did the well-aware shower strike.
Yeah.
That was super early in the show. And if you guys are just, joining us late in the show, early on, we worked with an organization called Well Aware that builds these wells in Africa. And they do a shower strike every year. And we might be doing it again next year for all we know. But we got involved in that. And that whole process was we couldn't shower until we raised a certain amount of money. And that right out of the gate, I thought about water in such a different way. And to this day, my kids still do the if it's yellow, let it mellow. I actually have slipped up dozens of times in my home where I flush, and my sons will go, "Dad." They yell it at me because I made it a thing in our home. And so it's like kind of cool that became a thing in our house. And then every time I get in the shower, I always think about, I need to keep this short. I don't want to be wasteful. So that was another way that I changed. And so I think going into 2020, I'm excited. I've got some ideas on things that I want to do.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, in 2020. Actually, before I dig into that, I was going to say like ideas or New Year's resolutions and environmentalism that I thought maybe we could try. But is there another thing before I do that also made an impact for you this year?
Honest information, getting the truth, the facts, because it's there. There's
like the fires in the Amazon. That whole thing.
That was what I was going to kind of reference.
Yeah.
Like it's so interesting. It's so interesting that we have a community that cares so much about what's happening in the environment, but we also have a jaded community that's going to latch on to the information, like whatever information it gets.
Right.
I would have, in fact, not. I assumed back when the Amazon fires were going on that the Amazon forest was like the largest tree source on Earth, because you kind of are. That's what you're told that.
Yeah, you're told. You're
right?
told that
this is where it's at. This is where it's at, and it is tiny compared to the Siberian forest, right? So it's like there's in the in the Southeast Asia, the jungles out there are they're bigger. They're just bigger, right? So you've got these other massive forests that are, by the way, and jungles that, by the way, are also being burned, being
clear cut.
Yeah, being clear. Well, clear cut through fire in a lot of ways, which is like a double whammy. You lose the forest and you're producing just a whole lot of carbon emissions.
Right.
So it's interesting because we kind of focus on places where we're told to focus. And the thing that I guess I'm bringing up the point because while there are problems that are being brought up, you need to know what the facts are of those problems, because a lot of these things do have a corporate background that you aren't looking at. There's somebody who's trying to profit off of even what they're saying environmentally. Yeah. And so it's a good thing to look twice before believing the first thing that you see, to get the facts, and then through getting the facts, understand that maybe the problem's not as bad as you thought. Maybe the problem's worse. In the case of the rainforest issue, I mean, last year, more forest was burned in Siberia and in the Southeast Asia than in the Amazon.
Right.
And nobody cared.
Right. So
it's right, because that's not where there's a financial interest in the United States. Frankly, is why. Right. So, it's you gotta keep your ears open and just be a little more discerning about information, and that's something that I gathered.
Yeah, that's a big one. I think that especially where we are in the world today, people tend to read clickbait articles. Hey, calls right now. In. They're calling in our new studio. We'll take your calls after the show. Learning in this day and age, everybody's kind of quick to read a clickbait title article and just jump on and say this is the truth. And it's important to, research both sides, follow the money, make sure you're not just believing something because you read it. There's a lot of people adding their 2 cents on the internet, and we shared that opinion on the Amazon episode, and that's what got us flagged.
Yeah, we got banned.
Maybe we'll get flagged for this one too. So
let's hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. That means we made it.
Yeah.
So those were some of the big things I think for me that I learned a lot, and piggybacking off of the Amazon thing in the conversation, I am going to in the new year in 2020.
Yes.
I am going to go for meatless Mondays. Really? I'm going to not eat meat on Mondays. That's going to be my big effort, and I think that's going to be a good thing for me to try to remember, which is I try to cut it back. But if I always have that as a target, it's Monday. I don't eat meat on Mondays. I think that'll be good. So
I'm going to burn less forest.
I think you should dial it back.
I am going to now. I had a habit of
Noel was always out there just clear cutting
everything.
And I've told him, I've said, being a co-host on the Biofriendly podcast, this is really going against what
conflict of interest.
Yeah, I just don't think it's going to work. So, okay.
So
I'd appreciate if you do that.
I'm going to stop doing that.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop doing that.
Okay.
My big thing this year.
Yeah.
Is
next year.
Well, it's almost there. I mean, we're a couple days away.
I mean, look, if I can't say next year like some kind of dorky dad, see you next year.
You're right. See you next year. Next year is to with our business, right? With our company is to work hard to get our company into a position where we're part of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
Absolutely.
And to commit ourselves as a company to going zero waste and to finding ways to make our international business more of a zero waste operation, and to be greener in general as an operation. So there's a few things we have to do to kind of reorganize and restructure everything that we're doing, and we've started that with our move.
Yes.
But we've got more of that to do to make it so that we have a zero impact on the environment, and then to take what we've done and use that to help other businesses that are in our field that are related to us do the same thing. So they can use Green Plus, which would reduce their CO2 output by 7%. It's a big point, but as part of that also to get more of these oil companies and more of these businesses that would like to do something for the environment but don't know how, to use some of the tools we've been given and some of the opportunities through the United Nations to help bring those sustainable development goals to those businesses, and then to expand the concept of zero waste and a better sustainable business and better sustainable sociability and life to all of those other businesses. So my thought is I want to try to use what we have to expand that concept, not just with reducing the CO2 emissions, which they can do with Green Plus, but also just to improve their business and the way they do business so that they're creating less of an impact on the environment. And we work with a lot of these businesses. And we spend a lot of time with these businesses, and there's things that we can do to help make it financially worth their while to do that. And so
I think it's great.
That's kind of my I suppose it's not so much a personal one, but it's
it's okay. You made me, it's fine. It's made me look like an idiot. You're speaking about these great broad stroke ideas for the company and all these amazing things we're going to do. And here I am. Here I am personally. I'm talking about not eating a ham sandwich on Mondays, like some kind of dork. I'm I'm not going to eat a burrito, beef burrito on Mondays. And you're I'm going to change the world, and I'm going to do it through this. Yeah, that's fine.
To be fair.
By the way, I'm going to do all of those things too.
To be fair.
And you always are.
I didn't know what the topic was going to be when I sat down. So it's not like I had a minute to think about, am I going to start washing my plastic bags? I don't know. So it's okay, well, God, what am I going to do? And then I thought, well, the biggest thing I'm going to do is this, right? So so that's what came to mind. So I apologize.
To be fair,
I wasn't trying to
you nailed it. You nailed it. Is all I'm trying to say. I am going to stop eating meat.
You're what did you learn this year? I was oh, crud, what did I learn this year? And I had to think about that on the spot. And they're okay, what are we going to do this year with what you've learned? Oh my God, what am I in 10th grade?
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Well, here's the thing. I'm going to stop eating meat on Mondays and do all the things that Noel just said too. No, that's absolutely great. I'm totally kidding. I think it was a solid answer. And anything personally that does on this small scale.
Well, look, I'm also going to do. I don't know if I'm going to do meatless Mondays in particular, but I did.
He's going to rub Mondays in my face. I'm going to be in my office. He's just going to come in with a good giant, plate of meat and just be this is so good.
In The Simpsons, I don't know if you ever saw the episode of The Simpsons where Dr. Nick teaches Homer how to get fatter.
No.
He's like, here's how you check if it's okay for you to eat. First, you rub it on the wall, and if it goes clear, you can eat it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in my greasy chicken.
I love it.
Fried sandwich, and I'm going to rub it against your wall, and then we'll have a better view.
Oh gosh!
I actually had planned before you even said anything. Man,
you don't even know.
Yeah. I had already planned on upping my vegetable intake in general, just to make more meals about veggies and doing more salads and eating less meat as like a kind of more habitual thing to try to make it like there's more meals that are doing. So I don't know if I necessarily on a day wouldn't have meat, although there probably will be days where I don't, because I'm going to try sort of not to. But it's kind of I'm working on a diet reevaluation to be a. I'm
doing that as well. So yeah, for sure. Meatless Monday is just a way for me to like try to be good about that one thing, but I also need to overhaul as well. Yeah, come on in.
So this one of the fun things about our new facility is that the door is. Enter is right there. It's not a large place. It's a very small place. So Brooke just came. She didn't want to be on TV, so she walked.
She was like
behind that way.
She was like, "I'm not getting on that camera."
Yeah, but Brooke just arrived.
Yeah,
which is our cue that we're over 30 minutes.
We're done. Yeah, we are over. We were running a little long because it was our end of the year special. So I figured.
End of the year special, and we always talk about is Die Hard a Christmas movie? The end of the year special. It's a tradition.
Right.
We do it every year.
Okay, great. That's a good tradition. Well, I just want to say, as we finish out in 2019, I want to encourage our audience. You guys have been awesome to have been listening to the show this year, and please, continue to spread the word. And my kind of end of the year thing that I would tell you is, go outside in the start of the new year, breathe in Mother Nature, and just think of the ways that you can connect to the planet in 2020 in ways that you can make a difference. And, we continue to push this painless green effort, and I know that each of you are capable of making little small adjustments in your day-to-day life and doing these painless green things. So keep rocking it. We love doing this show and love inspiring and sharing ideas and also making you laugh with our tangents. But we're grateful we couldn't do this show without you guys listening and spreading the word. So that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. And I'll say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And remember that sustainability is not just this is one of the cool things about the Sustainable Development Goals. Sustainability isn't just about how do we save the environment. That is a huge aspect of it. But sustainability is also, and part of the environment is the rest of us and those of us who are in it. So be cool to each other.
Yeah, be kind.
Be cool to each other. That's a big. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. It was said years ago by the great Bill and Ted, and that was not an inaccurate statement.
It's very true.
And that will help. That will help the social sustainability of the planet. Yeah. And that's my New Year's wish to all of you is that you'll be rad to each other.
All right, I love it. We have been your beacon of light in a gloomy environment.
Sound years ahead of the competition.
Saving the world eventually.
Tantamount.
So glorious, so handsome.
Tangential, but worth it.
I mean, it was the perfect one.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty doggone good. So thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you in 2020.
2020.
Bye.
I almost messed the tangential. What is that?
You did it.
And then it came as a
It's the Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.
We got it.
You got it. You did it. You nailed it.
Happy New Year, Jacob.
Happy New Year, Noel.